Hey guys, tonight we're diving into one of those stories. The kind where your phone pings with a message that shouldn't hurt anymore, but still burns. Imagine this. Your dad's 60th birthday bash is tonight, and instead of an invite, you get a text from your golden boy brother Lucas. Don't show up to dad's 60th. You'll embarrass us all. If I see you near the venue, I'll have you escorted out. Charming, right? The party's at Barton Creek Country Club. Yes, that one in Austin. The kind of place where the champagne flows like water and tech tycoons measure status by wristwatch weight. Your dad, Daniel Reyes, is being honored as the visionary behind Reyes Dynamics, a bigwig in clean energy, AI, or whatever buzzword gets him on the cover of Tech Capital Monthly. And you? Well, let's just say you didn't make the family brochure. Another ping. Claire, your stepmother. Lucas is right. Tonight's crucial for your father's partnerships. Please don't create any drama. Oh, Claire. Always the diplomat, right? Except when she's sharpening her knives behind a silk napkin. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And drop your location and local time in the comments. I always love seeing where you're listening from. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You sit on the edge of your bed, phone glowing in your hand, the last two texts blinking at you like little daggers. And somehow, despite everything, you still feel that familiar, ridiculous sting, the ache of being unwanted by the people who once called you family. You toss your phone onto the duvet, but it doesn't silence the storm in your head. The same old refrain loops like a cursed lullaby. Don't cause drama. Think of the family image. Be quiet, be small. You exhale, long and shaky, the kind of sigh that belongs in movie montages and breakup scenes. But this is no montage. This is you, the allegedly estranged daughter of Austin's most beloved tech mogul, trying to remember whether you ever actually belonged in that world. The irony is, you used to believe in him. Daniel Reyes, clean-cut, charismatic, a pioneer in sustainable innovation. He once told a conference room that family is the foundation of all progress. Bold words from a man who divorced your mother for a younger woman and quietly pretended you were some failed prototype that needed shelving. Back in ancient Rome, emperors celebrated their birthdays with feasts open to the public. Caesar himself was known for his generosity. You imagine Daniel handing out custom gift bags while pretending to be the Caesar of modern energy. Historians still argue whether Caesar's generosity was heartfelt or strategic manipulation. You could ask the same about your dad. You glance at your closet. You could ignore them. Stay home. Be the ghost they expect. But you've done that before. You remember the time you skipped your cousin's wedding because it would be less awkward, only to see Instagram photos of the whole family smiling, captioned, "Wouldn't have been complete without everyone here." You trace the edge of your blazer, the one that means business. It's been 2 years since you walked away from them, 2 years since you built something real on your own. You didn't just survive, you thrived. And now? Now it might just be time to remind them. You step into the velvet night like a secret with high heels. Austin air hums warm against your skin, the scent of cedar and cigar smoke whispering through the streets. You swipe your car's remote, and the engine purrs like it's in on the plan. A silver Lucent Nova, fully electric, customized by your startup's design lab, one of only 6 on the road. Technically, you're not just crashing the party. You're arriving in something Daniel Reyes' company once tried to acquire. Barton Creek Country Club glows on the hillside like a polished gem, columns wrapped in fairy lights, laughter spilling out from the ballroom windows. You park discreetly at the lower lot. No valet, no red carpet entrance. Just a soft click of your heels on stone as you make your way up. Inside, the foyer's soaked in champagne tones. You catch sight of Claire, stepmother dearest, in a sequined gown that screams committee board member. She's mid-laugh with the mayor, unaware that the daughter she tried to erase is 20 feet and a floral arrangement away. You duck behind a topiary shaped like Texas, because of course it is. Somewhere in this crowd, Lucas is pacing with that wrinkle between his brows, rehearsing ways to keep you away. Probably bribed security with a "watch out for the girl with attitude and trauma." Historians still argue whether Cleopatra's dramatic entrances, like the one where she allegedly rolled herself up in a rug to meet Caesar, were real or theatrical exaggeration. But either way, she made an impression. And tonight, so will you. You adjust your earrings, polished obsidian, and step toward the ballroom like you own it, not because you were invited, but because, frankly, you don't need to be. The ballroom hits like a tidal wave of wealth, crystal chandeliers dripping like icicles, jazz quartet crooning in the corner, tables adorned with imported orchids and menu cards embossed in gold leaf. You take it all in while gliding past a server offering foie gras on porcelain spoons, declining with a smile, even though your stomach started whispering rude things. You spot Lucas at the center of it all, polished shoes, polished hair, polished ego. He's mid-toast, charming a table of venture capitalists with that oily charisma he inherited from Daniel. The room's full of Austin's power elite, but their attention is orbiting him like he's the second coming of Tesla, Edison, and Elon, if Elon wore cufflinks with his own initials. You hover at the edge of the crowd, sipping from a flute of something bubbly and pretending you're just another investor's plus one. Someone's wife, maybe. Someone's problem, definitely. A few heads turn. You see the whispers start like ripples in a koi pond. A woman, in red squints. A man in a navy suit leans over to mutter into his date's ear. Your name is already skipping across tablecloths and behind manicured hands. Lucas locks eyes with you across the ballroom. Ah, there it is. Panic, brief and brittle, flickers across his face. His speech stutters. Champagne flutes freeze midair. Somewhere near the dessert tower, Claire's jaw slackens into a very elegant gasp. Historians still argue whether Marie Antoinette actually said, "Let them eat cake." But what's undisputed is this. The woman knew how to make an entrance, and a scandal. You're just following in the footsteps of misunderstood icons. You give Lucas a small wave. Then sip your drink again, pinky slightly raised. Let them talk. Claire reaches you first. Of course she does. Her heels click with the urgency of a press secretary headed to diffuse a scandal. She's all pearls and panic, that faint citrus perfume you remember from childhood, back when she was just your dad's colleague who always laughed too loud at his jokes. She doesn't greet you, just leans in close, the smile glued to her face like a PR mask. "This isn't the time, sweetheart," she hisses, eyes still scanning the room. "Your father's about to give his keynote. Please, don't make a scene." You tilt your head like you're confused by her concern, like you just happened to stumble in wearing a black velvet dress and heels sharp enough to slice her Botoxed composure. "Oh, Claire," you whisper sweetly, "I'm not the one who makes scenes. I just finish them." The thing is, you're not just here for petty revenge. That would be too easy. You're here because people like Claire and Lucas count on silence, on shame, on you staying exactly where they left you, off to the side, hidden like an embarrassing family secret. But secrets have a way of rising, don't they? Like bodies in a lake when the water warms. Across the room, Daniel takes the stage. The lights shift, spotlight finding him like it always does. He looks older, thinner, but the voice? Still smooth as bourbon over ice. He starts with a joke, gets the room laughing. Classic misdirection. History's full of men who won wars with charm before weapons. Julius Caesar, Winston Churchill, even JFK's grin could soften an iron curtain. Claire's hand twitches toward your elbow. You step back. You're not here to be erased tonight. You're here to be remembered. You slip around the side of the ballroom just as Daniel launches into his polished tale. How Reyes' dynamics started in a garage. How he risked everything for a vision. How family values shaped every decision he made. Oh, the irony. You make your way toward the side wall where the press are stationed. Local outlets, a few trade mags, even a blogger from TechCrunch wearing glitter Doc Martens. The perfect audience. You tap one of them on the shoulder and whisper, "I've got a better story." She turns, skeptical, until you flash your name and the founder badge from the startup conference in Berlin last spring. Her eyebrows lift. Recognition lands. The same way gravity still stirs debate among physicists. Wave versus particle. Newton versus Einstein. Your presence sparks its own disruption in this room. While Daniel beams beneath the chandeliers, you quietly pull out your phone. Tap the Bluetooth connection. Wait for the hum of the AV system syncing with your own presentation. Then, click. The projector flickers once. Twice. And suddenly, Daniel's slideshow cuts mid-sentence. In its place appears a sleek title card with your company logo. Silence ripples like a dropped wine glass. The screen fades into a short video. Your team, your offices. A montage of awards. A ticker of recent investment rounds. You narrate in voiceover, calm and crystal clear. While some build legacies through image, others build them through impact. Historians still argue whether the invention of the printing press or the internet had more societal sway. But you just rewrote a family history in 90 seconds flat. The lights go up. All eyes turn, not to the stage, but to the woman standing coolly by the tech booth, arms crossed, expression unreadable, you, the disappointment, the outcast, the empire builder. The murmur starts small, just a few whispers flitting through the crowd like mosquitoes near a campfire. Then come the gasps, the glances, the phones raised discreetly at first, then boldly. Some guests smile in recognition. A few clap, and one man, likely an investor, turns to his wife and mouths, "That's her." You stand still, letting the chaos bloom around you like a midnight cactus. Rare, dramatic, and impossible to ignore, Claire is the first to approach, her heels stabbing the floor like punctuation. "What are you doing?" she hisses through a perfect country club smile. "You're humiliating your father." You tilt your head, all innocence and ice. "You said not to create drama." "I didn't. I created a moment." That one stings. Claire's jaw tightens like a vice. But before she can reply, Lucas appears, shoulders taut, the veins in his temple doing a little tap dance of rage. "Turn it off. Now." You don't. Because here's the thing. Historians still argue whether Cleopatra's power came more from her intellect or her presentation. But everyone agrees she knew how to steal a room. And you, standing beneath the high chandeliers of Barton Creek, have just pulled your own little Alexandria stunt. Lucas reaches for your phone. You sidestep. A new slide pops up. Your tech's impact in underserved communities. Kids coding. Women in STEM. Solar panels in villages without electricity. A guest, someone from the mayor's office maybe, turns to Daniel. "Why haven't we heard of this before?" Your father, red-faced and frozen, finally speaks. "Because she's not part of the company." A pause. Then you, calm, clear, measured. "No, I'm not. I built my own." History's full of dynasties, of families torn apart by power or stitched together by it. You're the chapter no one expected. The tension in the room shifts like tectonic plates, silent, heavy, inevitable. One polite cough. A single fork clinks against fine china. And then someone, perhaps emboldened by champagne or just the electric thrill of scandal, starts clapping. Not just any someone, Senator Patel, Austin's golden boy of progressivism. He leans forward, nodding at you with a grin that says, "About time someone shook things up." Others follow, investors, developers, board members you've only seen in press releases. The ripple becomes a wave. Applause. Soft at first, then louder. Daniel doesn't clap. Lucas looks like he might rupture a blood vessel. Claire's smile has officially fossilized into a grimace. You smile. Not out of spite, but serenity. Like Eleanor of Aquitaine returning to court in her golden years, knowing full well the kingdom wouldn't function without her sharp mind and sharper memory. Historians still argue whether Eleanor's political power outshone her royal husband's, but few deny her legacy. You walk past Lucas, past Claire, past the gawking guests and the ghost of the daughter they used to pity. Each step echoes. You're not here to ask for a seat at the table. You're here to remind them that you own your own dining set now, and the food's better. Then, the tech guy from Tesla, Michael something, approaches. "I've heard of your work," he says, voice low. "We've actually been meaning to reach out." You raise an eyebrow. "You have my card." It's a sleek little thing, matte black, minimalist. Your startup's name in a font bold enough to make Helvetica weep. You hand it to him. Meanwhile, Daniel watches. Silent. Shoulders slumped. For the first time in years, he looks small. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it just walks in quietly, uninvited, and changes everything. The night drapes itself in shadows as you slip away from the murmur of surprised conversations and clinking glasses. Outside, the air is crisp, The kind that makes your lungs feel alive like a cold shower after a slow summer's day. You lean against the sleek black car waiting for you, the engine purring softly, a perfect contrast to the stifling atmosphere you just escaped. Austin has always been a city of reinvention, from its early days as a frontier town to its current tech boom, where startups rise and fall faster than the summer thunderstorms. You remember reading about how the Barton Creek area once belonged to the Tonkawa people before it became the playground for Austin's elite. Historians still argue whether the city's rapid expansion truly honors that legacy or simply erases it. As you scroll through your phone, a notification buzzes. A message from an unknown number: "Saw you tonight. You're stronger than they know." Quirky how, even after all this time, some mystery still lingers in your life, like that bizarre urban legend about Austin's secret underground tunnels used during Prohibition, which may or may not be entirely true. Lucas's warning echoes faintly in your mind, but you smile. Tonight wasn't about confrontation or proving a point. It was a reminder, one you delivered quietly, but unmistakably, that you've carved out your own empire, far from the shadow of Reyes dynamics. You pocket the phone, slide into the driver's seat, and glance back at the glittering clubhouse fading behind you. The city lights sparkle like 1,000 tiny promises. This is your story now. You drive away from the Barton Creek Country Club, the night stretching out ahead like a velvet ribbon. The hum of the engine and the soft glow of the dashboard feel oddly comforting after the tension-filled evening. Your mind drifts, weaving between memories of your father's cold eyes and your stepmother's clipped warnings. They wanted to keep you out of sight, out of mind, like an inconvenient chapter best forgotten. Austin's skyline flickers in the distance, a mix of glass towers and old brick buildings, standing as a testament to the city's complicated history. Did you know that Austin once served as the capital of the Republic of Texas? Historians still argue whether that brief period shaped the fiercely independent spirit the city wears today, or if it's just a romanticized myth. You remember how your family's wealth seemed to cast a long shadow over your childhood. Wealth that came from Reyes dynamics, a tech empire your father built from the ground up. But what they never told you was that their empire was built on secrets and sacrifices, some of which you were forced to make alone. Like that strange fact you learned recently. The founder of Silicon Valley once funded his early projects by selling rare comic books, a quirky side story nobody expects in tales of tech giants. The city lights blur past as you settle into a slow, steady rhythm behind the wheel. The sting of exclusion starts to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence. You are no longer just the daughter who doesn't belong at the party. You are the one who left, the one who built something real, something untouchable. The night air feels lighter now, and as you drive further from the club, the weight of their judgments begins to lift. In the end, the empire you revealed tonight isn't just about money or status. It's about reclaiming your story on your terms. The next morning, sunlight filters through the blinds as you sit at the kitchen table, nursing a lukewarm cup of coffee. The silence here is a stark contrast to last night's electric tension. Outside, the neighborhood buzzes with the usual weekday rhythms, unaware of the drama that unfolded just hours ago. Did you know coffee itself has a history steeped in rebellion? Back in the 17th century, Europeans debated whether drinking coffee was a sinful act, with some calling it the, quote, bitter invention of Satan. Historians still argue whether these early coffee controversies helped shape European enlightenment or simply made mornings more entertaining. Your phone buzzes with messages, some from friends offering quiet support, others from people wondering if you made a scene. You decide to ignore the noise and focus on the quiet victory simmering beneath your skin. There's a curious fact you recall about your father's own beginnings. Before Reyes Dynamics, he once worked at a garage fixing old radios, a humble start that contrasts sharply with his current empire. It's a reminder that every titan has roots, even if they try to hide them. Your stepmother Claire's warning echoes in your mind. Please don't create any drama. But you're done tiptoeing around their fragile facades. Tonight's reveal wasn't about making waves for the sake of it. It was about standing tall, unshaken by their judgment or denial. You think about the city's history, how Austin reinvented itself time and again, from a sleepy capital to a tech hub, always surprising the world. And just like the city, you're ready to rewrite your story, on your terms, no matter who watches or judges. You wander outside, the warm Austin air brushing against your skin, like a soft reminder that life goes on. The city hums around you, cars buzzing, distant sirens, a street musician playing a mellow tune you can almost hum along to. Austin's music scene has always been a curious mix of tradition and rebellion. Once, in the 1970s, it was nicknamed the live music capital of the world. Historians still debate whether it was the influx of artists or the city's laid-back spirit that truly sparked the Cultural Revolution. As you walk, your mind drifts to Lucas. The golden boy had always been so tightly wound around preserving the Reyes image that he forgot the cracks underneath were what made it real. You remember reading somewhere about sibling rivalry stretching back centuries. Some of history's most famous family dramas happened between brothers and sisters, tangled in loyalty and betrayal. Some scholars even argue that family feuds are the engine of great dynasties, pushing them toward both greatness and ruin. You pause near a small park bench, watching a couple laugh softly under the glow of a street lamp. The moment feels strangely peaceful, almost like a scene from a movie. But inside, you're plotting your next moves. The empire you revealed last night is just the beginning, a signal flare in the darkness. They may have tried to erase you, but you're here to stay, loud and unapologetic. And as you step back onto the sidewalk, you can't help but smirk, thinking of the chaos you just stirred up at Barton Creek. It's not just about family anymore, it's about legacy. The next morning hits like a slow, creeping fog. You wake to the muffled buzz of news alerts and the sharp sting of a headache that owes its existence to last night's adrenaline. Austin's media circus has caught wind of the party fallout. The headlines already splatter phrases like "Family Feud at Reyes Gala" and "Rebel Daughter Rocks Corporate World." It's funny how quickly public opinion can shift, like the wildfires Texas is known for. Sudden, fierce, and impossible to ignore. Historians still argue whether media frenzy and family scandals is more a symptom of society's voyeurism or the relentless power of capitalism. You scroll through the comments, some supportive, others dripping with thinly veiled judgment. You learn the Reyes name carries weight, yes, but it also carries grudges. And here you thought family gatherings were the worst social events. Try dealing with thousands of strangers dissecting your every move. Somewhere between the chaos, a bizarre fact tickles your brain. In ancient Rome, disgraced family members were sometimes subjected to public shaming in the forum. You're no Roman, but part of you wonders if public shaming has always been the favorite pastime of those in power. Pulling yourself together, you decide to use this storm to your advantage. The empire you revealed wasn't just a surprise. It's your foothold in a world that tried to keep you in the shadows. It's a reminder that while the Reyes may have controlled the narrative for years, you hold the pen now. And if the storm outside your window is any indication, the winds of change have only just begun. The week rolls on, and you find yourself riding the unexpected wave of attention. Invitations come from unexpected corners. Podcasts want your story. Business forums ask for your insights. Even local schools want you to speak about resilience and entrepreneurship. You never thought your father's cold shoulder would turn into a spotlight, but here you are, front and center. It reminds you of the history of Texas itself, a land of reinvention and stubborn independence. Texans famously say, "Don't mess with Texas," but maybe what they really mean is, "Don't underestimate the underdog." You chuckle at how your story now feels like a modern twist on the classic rags to riches narrative. And here's a quirky tidbit. During the California gold rush, many fortune seekers had no gold but plenty of grit. Some even traded in stories of failure as currency. You realize your narrative has become your own kind of gold, richer than anything buried in the ground. Historians still argue whether individual success is purely a product of chance or the culmination of relentless will. Whatever the answer, you've proven that timing, opportunity, and courage all play their parts. Late one night, as you draft your next keynote speech, you remember Lucas's warning, his words echoing in your mind like a cautionary bell. But now, instead of fear, you feel a calm confidence. The family you thought would reject you has no choice but to reckon with the new reality. You're no longer just the shunned daughter. You're a force to be reckoned with. And the world, it seems, is finally ready to listen. The night of the big gala arrives. You stand at the entrance of Barton Creek Country Club, dressed sharp but feeling surprisingly calm. The valet hands you the keys to your own sleek car, the one you bought yourself after your first big deal. You scan the crowd, tech investors, city officials, even your stepmother Claire chatting nervously near the bar. And there, Unmistakably, Lucas watches you, his expression a mix of surprise and something softer. Maybe respect? As you make your way through the glittering event, whispers follow you like a gentle breeze. You overhear snippets. Is that Daniel Reyes' daughter? I thought she was out of the picture. Your presence is the unspoken headline, the twist everyone secretly wanted. The history of public family dramas is rich. Think of the Kennedys or the Roosevelts. Powerful names with tangled stories. But tonight, you write your own version, with grace and undeniable strength. A quirky fact. In Renaissance courts, nobles often sent doppelgangers to events to protect their image. A bizarre practice to keep secrets safe. You can't help but smile, thinking you're the opposite, showing up to rewrite the story instead of hiding it. Historians still argue whether public image or private truth holds more weight. But tonight, you blur those lines effortlessly. Lucas approaches, voice low but genuine. I was wrong about you. And just like that, the walls you built around your past begin to crumble, replaced by the quiet promise of new beginnings. You realize that sometimes, the fiercest battles lead to the most unexpected peace.